I'm Elizabeth Calderon over in third grade at Martin Luther King School, here to share with you a project I've enjoyed doing with my students every year, but especially this year during distance learning because it's very simple and it was very easy to put together in a packet and send home with my students and for us to do on Zoom. So I call it Fraction Fish. There's a sample behind me, and it's really easy. We'll go ahead and start off with the items that we need. So the first thing that we're going to need is a large blue piece of construction paper. This is going to be our ocean background. You'll need 4 different circles die cut into fractions. I've used the half, the fourth, the sixth, and the eighth. You'll also need something, well, you'll need a glue stick and a pencil or a crayon. I have a black marker because it shows up well on Zoom. And then maybe some color crayons or some colored pencils to add the just after effects. So we start out by talking to the students about our fractions. We lay them all out in a circle. And we start out with the first one, and we talk about how many pieces that's been cut into. Of course, we've seen that all of the circles are the same size, but they've been cut into different pieces. So we talk about what we have when something's been cut into 2 different pieces. We call that halves. So we go ahead and we label each side with a half. And then we move on to the next one. And we have our fourths. And we talk about what something is called when we've cut it into 4 pieces. We give it a name and we label each piece with its name, which is the 1/4. This is a great time that I always sort of tease my students and talk about having a piece that I found from another class that I've done. And I'll pull another piece out and say, oh my goodness, I have 5 of them. So do I change the name to fifths since I have 5? No, I do not. It does not get to change its name. It is still a 4th. It's just that I have 4 fourths and an extra 4th. So I have 5 fourths. I have 1 whole circle and another extra part. So I have 1 and a little bit more. I have 5 fourths. And then we'll go on to our next circle, our 6th, and we'll label each one of those with its name. And we do a lot of talking about fractions at this time. And then we also have our 8th. And we go ahead and talk about what we call items when they have been cut into 8 pieces. We call them 8ths, that is their name, and we label each piece 1/8. Go ahead. Then comes the fun part. We get to take our pieces, and the rule of this project is you can arrange your pieces in any way. However, you must use all of your pieces, and we're going to make fish out of them in some way. So I always go ahead and I always start with my red piece because that's a great one for becoming a crab. So I'll go ahead as I tell the students, before you go ahead and glue anything down, just go ahead and lay some things out. So we'll lay our crab out there and imagine him. Oftentimes, this is a great size for a part of a fish. I can make his fish mouth. There's really no right or wrong way. He's floating there. We have, we can do some fins out of green if we wanted to. We can do as many or as few as we'd like to. Our orange pieces, our fourths, are great. By this time, my class has spent a lot of time talking about the giant squid. So we kind of maybe make him, set him somewhere in here. We might make him a squid with some arms. As you can see, he doesn't look like much right now. Also, the fourths make great shells. So I might put a few of those down at the bottom. I'm left with some green pieces and some yellow pieces. The yellow makes another great, I can make a jellyfish if I wanted to by combining them all together. And again, there's no necessary rhyme or reason to this. I'm going to draw in some tentacles on him later. I always like to take some of my green pieces and make a little sea turtle down at the bottom, or sometimes I'll make him swimming. I just have to rearrange them. Somewhere swimming around here, I'm going to draw in a head and some feet. I'll use 4 of the 8s. So we'll talk about that with our students. And of course, this is a time when they get to enjoy their own creativity. But we'll talk about, oh, how did I make my squid? I used 3/6. How many pieces did I use to make my crab? I used 1/2. And my mixture of my fish over here, well, I used 2/6, 1/2, and 2/8. Better decide to use a few more of these. Green pieces also make great seaweed. I've got some shells and some jellyfish. I've got one little extra guy here. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I'm going to make him some squid. I've got to find a place for him. He's got to have a place. So I may decide I'm going to go ahead and figure out a different way. This is the challenge of doing it. I might decide to make a different kind of fish and do some seaweed. Anyway, then we're going to go ahead and start gluing down our pieces when we have an idea. And then, just to quickly show you, we add on with the colored pencils. We're going to go ahead and add on bubbles and heads and arms and feet and legs, and we'll just go ahead and finish off our picture. I drew it in with black here so you could see it better, but this is when colored pencils come in. Just black shows up, and we've got our squid and our turtle. But students have a great time with this project, and I'd like to go ahead and show you some other pieces of my students' work. So here I am again with pieces that my students have created for fraction fish, just the originality each student has in their own individual work. So here's one, here's another, and a third. Thank you. I hope you enjoy this project.